Does the silence from your estranged child feel heavier, more suffocating than any spoken word ever could? There is a unique and profound pain that comes with this kind of separation, a pain that settles deep in your bones and casts a long shadow over your quietest moments. It is the persistent ache of unanswered phone calls, the sharp, cold sting of unreturned text messages, the cavernous, hollow space at the family dinner table where they used to sit, laugh, and live. You find yourself replaying conversations from years ago in your mind, meticulously sifting through words and memories, desperately searching for the exact moment it all went wrong, torturing yourself with the question of whether a different word, a different action could have changed the entire course of your life. The world outside continues to move on, but a significant part of your heart remains frozen in that unresolved, agonizing silence, caught in an emotional tug-of-war between a deep, primal yearning to reconnect and a desperate, fundamental need to protect your own dignity. You want to reach out, to build a bridge across the vast chasm that has grown between you, but you are terrified that doing so will look like begging, like a complete and utter surrender of your self-respect. If this agonizing internal conflict resonates within the deepest parts of your soul, if you are a parent walking this lonely, misunderstood path, please know that this video was made specifically for you. We are not here to offer you easy, platitude-filled answers or the false promise of a quick, magical fix. Instead, we are here to share 3 profound, perhaps counterintuitive, and deeply practical secrets to help you navigate this painful journey. This is a guide on how to thoughtfully and strategically open the door to the possibility of reconciliation with wisdom, with strength, and most importantly, with your own precious dignity held fully and beautifully intact. Before we begin this deeply personal and critically important exploration, I would be so very thankful if you would take a brief moment to support our community and our work. If you believe this is a conversation that needs to be had with honesty and compassion, please press the like button and subscribe to our channel. It is a small gesture that makes a huge difference, allowing us to continue creating this kind of in-depth guidance for parents like you. And more than anything else in the world, I truly want to hear from you. The comments section of our videos has become a safe and sacred harbor for shared experiences, empathy, and mutual support. If you feel comfortable and safe doing so, I invite you to share a small piece of your own story, a thought, or a feeling that this topic brings up for you. You are not alone on this journey, and your voice, your simple act of sharing, can bring immense comfort and a powerful sense of validation to another parent who is feeling utterly isolated and lost in their pain right now. The first, and perhaps the most profoundly difficult secret to embrace, is this: you must take the first step, but it absolutely cannot be a step towards them. This may sound like an impossible contradiction, so please allow me to explain this crucial concept in detail. The natural, raw, and desperate instinct of a loving but estranged parent is to chase. It's the urge to call just one more time, to send another long, emotional, novel-length email meticulously explaining your side of the story, to text them photos from their childhood hoping to spark a memory, or even to show up at their home unannounced, hoping for a dramatic, cinematic breakthrough. Every single one of these actions, while born of deep love and unimaginable pain, is invariably perceived by your estranged adult child as a form of pressure. It is, from their perspective, an attempt to force a resolution on your terms and on your timeline. It feels like a demand for a relationship they may not be ready or willing to have. And every time you do it, you inadvertently and tragically push them further away, reinforcing their decision to keep their distance, while simultaneously chipping away at your own fragile sense of self-respect. Therefore, the very first step you must take is not an external one towards them, but a profound and transformative one towards yourself. It is the courageous step of radical self-acceptance and deep, honest internal work. Before you can ever hope to successfully mend the bridge with your child, you must first become an unshakable, whole, and peaceful island entirely on your own. This means you must make the conscious and often painful decision to stop allowing your daily happiness, your fundamental sense of self-worth, and your moment-to-moment emotional stability to be held hostage by their silence or their approval. It means you must actively and joyfully find purpose, connection, and meaning in your life that has absolutely nothing to do with them. Why is this the first and most critical secret? Because it fundamentally and irrevocably shifts the entire power dynamic of the situation. When you are operating from a place of desperation, they can feel it. Your energy is one of neediness, of pleading, of incompleteness. And no one, especially a conflicted adult child who likely harbors their own feelings of guilt and anger, is drawn to that heavy energy. But when you begin to genuinely and passionately cultivate your own life, rekindling old friendships that have laid dormant, starting a new and challenging hobby you've always been curious about, volunteering for a cause you deeply believe in, traveling to a place you've always wanted to see, learning a new language or skill, something truly miraculous begins to happen. Your entire energetic signature changes. You stop radiating desperation and you start radiating a quiet, calm, self-assured peace. You become a person who is living a full, vibrant, and interesting life, a person who is demonstrably okay with or without their participation. This is not an act, it is not a tactic. It is a genuine internal transformation. It is the difficult but necessary process of healing your own wounds, of courageously addressing your own part in the original conflict, and there is always a part, no matter how small, and of becoming emotionally and spiritually self-sufficient. I remember a woman named Margaret, whose beloved daughter had not spoken to her in over 3 years after a bitter and painful argument. For those 3 long years, Margaret's entire life revolved around the estrangement. She talked about it constantly with anyone who would listen. She cried every single day, and her own physical health began to seriously decline. She was, in essence, waiting for her daughter to rescue her from her own profound misery. Finally, at her absolute wit's end, she decided to join a local community choir, something she had adored in her youth, but had given up decades ago to raise her family. She started going to concerts with her new choir friends. She started traveling to regional competitions. She started laughing again, a sound she hadn't truly heard from herself in years. 6 months into this new, vibrant life, she summoned the courage to send her daughter a simple, elegant, no-strings-attached note. It did not rehash the past. It did not beg for forgiveness. It did not make any demands. It simply said, "Thinking of you and hoping you are well. I wanted to share a little joy with you. I've been singing in a choir again, and it has brought so much light back into my life." For weeks, she heard nothing. But she was okay because her happiness was no longer contingent on a reply. Then one day, her daughter responded with a tentative, short text message, "I'm glad you're happy, Mom." It was the fragile, hesitant beginning of a long and slow thaw. What had changed? Margaret had changed. She was no longer a victim waiting to be saved. She was a whole, vibrant person, and that wholeness is irresistibly magnetic. Your first and most crucial step is to build a life you truly love, a life that fills you with so much peace and purpose that your child's potential reconciliation becomes a wonderful, hoped-for addition, but not the entire, desperate source of your happiness. This is the unshakable foundation upon which all dignified reconciliation is built. This leads us logically and powerfully to the second secret. Your apology, if one is warranted, must be given as a gift, not as a transaction. This is one of the single biggest and most common mistakes that well-meaning but hurting estranged parents make. They come to view an apology as a tool, a key to unlock the door of what they want, which is, of course, to get their child back in their lives. They will dutifully say the words, "I'm sorry," but the energy behind those words is entirely transactional. It is an "I'm sorry, now will you please talk to me" approach. It is an apology with an invoice attached. This kind of apology is not a genuine act of healing or accountability. It is a subtle, and sometimes not so subtle, form of emotional manipulation, and your adult child, who is likely hypersensitive to your motives, will sense it from a mile away and reject it. A truly dignified and potentially effective apology is one that is given as a free, pure, and unconditional gift. It is an offering of sincere accountability with absolutely no expectation of anything in return, no phone call, no forgiveness, no reconnection. It is a statement that cleanses your own soul. It does not include the word but, as in, I'm sorry I yelled, but you were being difficult. The word but completely negates everything that came before it. It does not try to explain your side of the story or offer justifications for your past actions. A dignified apology focuses entirely and exclusively on acknowledging their pain and taking responsibility for your role in causing it. It sounds something like this, whether in a thoughtfully written letter, a carefully composed email, or a calm voicemail. I have been thinking a lot about our last conversation, and I want to genuinely and wholeheartedly apologize for my part in what happened. I deeply regret the words I said and the pain that I know I caused you. I understand that my actions were hurtful, and for that I am truly and unconditionally sorry. I am not asking for anything from you, and I expect nothing in return. I just felt it was important for you to know that I see my part in this, and I am sorry. That's it. You send that pure, clean message, and then you must do the hardest part. You must truly and completely let it go. You release it into the universe without an ounce of attachment to the outcome. You do not obsessively check your phone for a response. You do not ask mutual family members if they've heard anything from your child. You go back to living your full, peaceful, purpose-driven life, the one you so painstakingly built for yourself in secret number one. The true purpose of this kind of apology is not to force a reconciliation. The purpose is to clean your side of the street. It is an act of profound personal integrity. It is you, as the parent and the elder in the relationship, taking the high road and demonstrating the emotional maturity to own your mistakes without demanding that your accountability be rewarded. I worked with a father, David, who had a terrible and public falling out with his adult son over a family business matter. For 5 long, bitter years, they were completely estranged. David was adamant that his son was the one who was primarily in the wrong, and he may have been right. But the bitterness, he told me, was eating him alive from the inside out. After a great deal of painful reflection, he wrote his son a short, heartfelt letter. It did not relitigate the business deal. It did not point fingers. It simply said, "My ambition got in the way of my most important role, which was being your father. I put our business before our relationship. That was a terrible mistake, and it has been the great regret of my life. I am so sorry for the way I treated you and the pain I caused." He mailed the letter and truly, fully let it go. He did not expect or even hope for a response. A full year later, on his birthday, his son called him for the first time in 6 years. The path to true and lasting reconciliation is often paved with the bricks of unconditional accountability. This type of apology is incredibly disarming to an estranged child who is likely expecting you to be defensive, to argue, to justify yourself. When you offer nothing but clean, honest, and heartfelt regret, you remove their primary reason to stay angry. You are not giving them anything to fight against. You are simply offering peace. And while that peace may not be accepted immediately, you have planted a powerful and undeniable seed of healing. You have acted with honor, and that, in and of itself, is a profound victory for your own soul. This brings us to our third and final secret, the one that must govern all of your future interactions and will ultimately protect your heart in the long run. You must become the calm, unanxious presence. Let us assume for a moment that by diligently practicing the first 2 secrets, a small, fragile door has creaked open. Your child has responded, perhaps with a short, tentative text message or a brief, guarded phone call. A very fragile line of communication has been reestablished. This is the most crucial and delicate phase of the entire process, and it is precisely where so many well-intentioned parents make a fatal mistake. They get a glimmer of hope, they get excited, they get eager, and they rush in, trying to make up for all the lost time in one great, emotional flood. They bombard their child with questions, with requests to get together, with an intensity of emotion that is utterly overwhelming. And in doing so, they frighten the wounded part of their child right back into the safety of withdrawal and silence. The secret to nurturing this fragile, newborn connection is to consciously become the calm, steady, and unanxious presence in the relationship. Your job now is to be the lighthouse, strong, steady, and shining a gentle light from a safe distance, not the crushing, tumultuous storm. This means you must learn to manage your own deep anxiety about the relationship. You must not, under any circumstances, push for more than they are ready and willing to give. You must let them set the pace of this delicate dance. If they send you a short, 3-word text message, you respond with a short, warm, 3-word text message. You do not respond with the long, emotional paragraph asking when you can see them. If they are only comfortable with occasional, superficial conversations about the weather or sports, you meet them there, in that seemingly superficial space, and you make it the safest, most pleasant, and lowest pressure place for them to be. You must resist the powerful temptation to use these early, tentative interactions to rehash the past or to talk about the estrangement itself. That is akin to picking at a freshly formed scab. It never helps it heal. Your only goal in these early stages is to create new, positive, and completely low-pressure experiences, no matter how small. I remember a mother, Sarah, whose reconnection with her estranged daughter began with them simply sending each other pictures of their respective dogs back and forth via text. For months, that was the entirety of their communication. Sarah was, understandably, agonizing over it. She wanted to talk, to heal, to understand what had happened. But she wisely and intuitively understood that for her daughter, these simple dog pictures were the safest, most indirect way to reconnect. It was the silent way of her daughter saying, "I'm still here and I'm thinking of you, but this is all I can handle right now." Sarah learned to be content with the dog pictures. She would respond to each one with a simple heart emoji. No questions, no pressure. Over time, the dog pictures slowly evolved into short, infrequent phone calls. Those phone calls eventually turned into a brief, hour-long coffee meeting in a neutral location. The healing happened at a glacial pace, but it happened because Sarah was patient enough to allow it to. Being the calm, unanxious presence also means you absolutely must continue to live your own full and satisfying life. You do not drop everything you are doing the moment they finally call. Your life does not stop and start at their convenience. You continue with your choir practice, your friendships, your volunteer work. This is not about playing manipulative games. It is about demonstrating through your consistent actions that you are a whole, stable, and emotionally regulated person. This, more than anything, makes you safe for them to be around. They know that your happiness is not dependent on them, which takes an immense amount of pressure off of them. It allows them to approach you not out of guilt or a sense of obligation, but out of a genuine, budding desire to reconnect with the interesting, peaceful, and self-sufficient person you have become. You must be the parent in this dynamic. You must be the one who is emotionally regulated, the one who can compassionately hold the space for their ambivalence and their fear without falling apart yourself. You must be the one to prove over and over again through your calm, steady, and patient presence that this time will be different. In the end, this long, arduous, and painful journey of estrangement and the flickering hope for reconciliation is not ultimately about winning your child back. It is about winning yourself back. It is about the profound and liberating understanding that you cannot control their choices, their feelings, their readiness, or their timeline. The only person in this entire universe you can truly control is yourself. By consciously choosing to build a life filled with your own purpose and joy, a life that is completely independent of their validation, you heal your own heart from the inside out. By offering a clean, unconditional, gift-like apology, you reclaim your own unwavering integrity regardless of how it is received. And by becoming a calm, steady, and unanxious presence in any renewed interaction, you create the most fertile and safest ground possible for a new, healthier, and more respectful relationship to potentially and slowly grow. There are, of course, no guarantees in this life. Some rifts are too deep, some hurts too profound to ever be fully mended. But by walking this difficult path of dignity, you ensure that no matter what the ultimate outcome may be, you will have navigated the most painful experience of your life with the one thing that no one can ever take from you: your own unshakable dignity. You will know in the core of your being that you acted not from a place of desperation, but from a place of profound love and unwavering self-respect. And that knowledge, in and of itself, is a powerful and healing peace that will sustain you for the rest of your days. Thank you for your immense courage in exploring this topic with us today. It is a true testament to your love as a parent. Please feel welcome to share your thoughts in our community below. Your story truly matters. And if you found this guidance to be helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone else who may be walking this same difficult road. We are here for you, and we will see you again.